It's indeed true, the crisis continues. As I drove here, I was worried I'd get late because there was a huge traffic jam on, I think, Loitoktok Road, where there's a new Total. And I only got closer and realized it's people queuing for fuel, so I overlapped. I hope they don't arrest me for overlapping when I leave the studio. Anyway, unlike my colleague John Buddy, I will not be escapist. And I will not want to sound like an apologist for the executive. We do know. And even ourselves as members of parliament, we do know. John Buddy here knows what happened. We have, let me educate you then, if you don't. We have a consumer protection mechanism in Kenya. And I was in a funeral earlier today in Kikuyu, and the reverend who was preaching said she would not have attended the funeral had she not gone to queue for fuel in Kikuyu at midnight. And I said, and she mentioned the clip that is going around of Her Excellency President Suluhu in Tanzania, asking politicians to educate their people. And therefore, that's why I said I will not fail to educate the people on what went wrong, because that is the role I play. I think she also said,
and not to spread propaganda.
Yes, and not to spread propaganda. And that's why I'm here to educate and inform people, the Kenyans. And I'm sure Kenyans already know what happened. In Kenya, unlike Tanzania and many of our neighboring countries, we have a consumer protection mechanism that we established by statute and set up the Petroleum Development Fund, which is a fund that accumulates money from taxpayers. Every time you drive into a petrol station, you pay a few shillings and a few coins that goes into that fund to help mitigate eventualities as those that persist today. What we are all rushing to blame the Russian and Ukraine war, or any other eventuality, even foreign exchange rate fluctuations, COVID, when COVID came, you mitigate by getting money from this fund to be able to give to oil marketers so that they're able to sell their fuel at a rate or a price that is affordable to the people of Kenya. And that has been going on. What then happened is that the money that had been accumulated in this fund, Wahiga, was misappropriated, misdirected, and misapplied in all the wrong ways. Money was used from that fund. We have had, and you reported in your news last night, to some private entities. A private entity, even the Auditor General says, that is unnamed and unknown. And it's public money. Money was given to other state agencies. Some of it was used to pay pending bills owed to preferential contractors, not all contractors, because probably 90% of our roads contractors today are either on a go-slow or they have stalled many of the roads projects that are ongoing. Therefore, those that are considered preferential were paid from this fund. And that is how they wiped clean the fund. And when the shocks hit us, the external shocks hit us, then there was no money to mitigate the disaster. It's amazing. I watched the PS, I don't know, it's PS Petroleum Energy.
Petroleum and Mining.
PS Petroleum and Mining.
Kamau.
PS Kamau yesterday. You know, in a very condescending and arrogant way, telling Kenyans that they are to blame for this crisis. They are all rushing to petrol stations to fuel up. And I don't need to repeat what he said because you could see it. And I was at pains to see that sort of condescending attitude to Kenyans, because it is not Kenyans to blame. It is squarely the government of Kenya to blame.
Let me ask you this.
More so, specifically, the National Treasury.